Have you ever asked yourself, why is it so hard to find a woman that fears the Lord nowadays? Well, stay and watch this video. Pay close attention because I have a message that comes from the Bible that will help you understand why and also how you can find it. So let's go. How you doing, guys? Welcome to this new video, part of the section Reflections of the Bible. Today we have a very special message that is going to talk about something that usually goes unnoticed in the Bible, and however is very powerful because it helps us have a more clear idea of the relationships we want to have in our lives. So we know that Proverbs, the book of Proverbs, written by King Solomon, we know that it teaches us about wisdom, about walking in the ways of the Lord, about how we can be better people that follow God, that fear the Lord. It's a book of instruction for our character, for our relationship with God, and for our lives. It's a very beautiful book, full of knowledge, and it's interesting because it has 31 chapters. And the last chapter is the one that talks about a wife of noble character. So I always think and believe that the Bible, it's been structured in a perfect way. So everything happens for a reason in here. And it's not a coincidence that the chapter on the wife of noble character is at the end. It's not in the middle, not in the beginning, it's at the end. And after reading it many times, I came to the conclusion that it's at the end because we're meant to prepare ourselves, work on ourselves until we get to be the right and the ideal people to receive a wife of noble character. And then for the ladies watching this video, because this goes for you too, this video is dedicated to you. It's at the end because you learn how to walk with the Lord, and then you become a wife of noble character, and you can find a husband of noble character. This applies for any station of your relationship. It can be a boyfriend and a girlfriend, it can be wife and husband, it can be you just started, you're a recent couple, or you have 20 years together. It applies for everybody because if we woke up, it's a new day. And every new day brings with it the opportunity to grow closer to God and to be better human beings with His knowledge, with His wisdom. So let's read Proverbs 31st, verse 10. It says, "A wife of noble character, who can find? She is worth far more than rubies." It's beautiful because here there's three things happening. First one, a wife of noble character. In other translations, a virtuous woman. And then we see the second thing, who can find? It means that we have to look for her. Who can find? It's an invitation to look for the person. It's an invitation to search. And then the third one, she is worth far more than rubies. She's more valuable than any riches from the world. The real richness is in her character, in her heart, in her connection with the Lord. Now, we're going to talk about three examples from women from the Bible that are considered as people of noble character. There's a lot of examples in the Bible, a lot of women leaders of faith that can be used for this video. But in this case, I wanted to focus on three because I think they represent three different traits that build a woman of noble character, a wife of noble character. First one is Rebecca. Abraham told his servant, "Go to the land of my ancestors and find a wife, an ideal wife for my son Isaac." So the servant went and he stopped next to a well of water. And he was with his 10 camels. And he started praying. He asked the Lord for success in this journey. And he said that whoever comes, because women were the ones that draw water from the wells, whoever comes and offers me water and also waters my camels is the chosen one. Before he finished with the prayer, Rebecca showed up. And the servant asked Rebecca, "Can I get some water, please?" And Rebecca said, "Of course, drink, my lord." She gave him water, and then she offered herself to water the 10 camels. Guys, remember, it's not like today you have a water fountain, or you just buy a bottle of water and you give it to someone. Drawing water from the wells was a very hard task, a very hard job, and the women were the ones in charge of it. So just by the fact that she offered water to the servant is something important, because taking water out of the well is hard. So she offered it to the person. She didn't keep it for herself or for her family. And then offering herself to water 10 camels, it's amazing. It's incredible to think. Because 1, camels drink a lot of water. 2, it's hard to get water from the well. And 3, it's not something fast. It takes time. And then the servant said, "She is the one." After, you know the story, Isaac ended up marrying Rebecca. They were together. They had children. Yes, after Rebecca made some mistakes. I know, but that's not what we're focusing on, because we're focusing on what Rebecca did to find favor in the Lord's eyes. So a wife of noble character doesn't mean a perfect person. It means that although she can make mistakes, her character is what matters. So from Rebecca, I want to stay with the trait of service. Just as the Son of Man came to serve and not to be served, and to give his life as a ransom for many, he who gives is more blessed than he who receives. So in this case, she was willing to give, was willing to serve, was willing to offer her job, her effort, her energy, her time, and she was not looking for something in return. She didn't know that that decision was going to make her be the wife of Isaac, and she didn't know that that decision was going to make her be part of the ancestry of our Lord Jesus. And guys, while I'm telling you the stories and the traits of these great women in the Bible, these great characters, leaders of faith, I'm going to give you adjectives that describe these women. For Rebecca, is going to be selfless. Selfless. She was not looking to please herself, but to please others. And she was outstanding. Outstanding, guys. Now let's go to the second one. The second example is Deborah. She was a judge of Israel, being a woman. She had a good relationship with God. God talked to her, and through her, so Israel could defeat their enemies. She was a leader. She was determined. She was decided to follow the Lord and to fight for her people. She also went into battle. That takes a lot of courage, a lot of faith. So the trait that I rescue the most from Deborah is her leadership. The Lord spoke through her, and she went right away to speak with Barak. Then Barak said, "I'll go if you go," and she was decided to go. She led the army, she led the people, she went into battle. So she was a great leader. Leadership is something important, very important, because ladies watching this video, the Lord gave you power, gave you authority over everything. You have that inside of you. You too have the leadership of Deborah inside of you. The adjectives that I chose to describe Deborah is that she was passionate. Passionate about her calling. And passionate to fight for her people. And then the other one is that she was honorable. because she was always firm, decided, determined. She didn't hesitate. She didn't say, oh God, Barak is not going if I'm not going. Should I go? Should I worry? Are we gonna die? Is something bad gonna happen? No, she knew that the victory was the Lord's. She made the horse ready for the day of battle, knowing that the victory rests with the Lord. And now we go to the third and last example, which is Mary from Bethany. Jesus visited the house of Mary and Martha. And while Martha was worrying about preparing everything, getting everything ready because Jesus was at her home, and she even got mad at her sister because she was not helping her. She was all worried about these things. However, Mary, it says that she was sitting down at Jesus' feet, listening to his word. That's something beautiful. It's something that touches me a lot because I feel that that's a woman, and that's the example of a wife of noble character. Someone that prioritizes the Lord before the household tasks, before anything else. Mary was sitting at Jesus' feet, listening, learning with enthusiasm, with excitement. And then Martha came and told Jesus, hey, you're gonna tell her anything? She's not helping me with the things we have to do to prepare the house. And Jesus said, Martha, Martha, a few things needed. Indeed, only one. And Mary chose the best part. There's only one thing that matters, and it's Jesus. And Mary had that very clear in her mind. And the trait that I like the most from Mary is her heart. The heart is the most important thing. The Lord doesn't look at the appearance, doesn't look at what you do, doesn't look about what you say you're gonna do. The Lord looks at the heart. So this is beautiful because the heart of Mary was with the Lord. Martha had the best intentions, I'm sure about that. She was worried about giving Jesus the best experience at her home. I respect that. But Mary knew her priorities. Mary knew what had to be first, and that's God. And the two adjectives that I choose for Mary are inspiring, because it's an inspiration for all the women that maybe are struggling to get closer to God. You can always sit at Jesus' feet and listen to his word, learn from him. And then the other one is that she was amazing. Amazing. It's amazing to see a woman that fears the Lord, that wants to know more about God. That's beautiful, guys. So now, after we've seen the examples of women of noble character in the Bible, after knowing the traits, the three main traits that I decided to choose, which are service, leadership, and the heart. And after seeing the adjectives that describe these characters, now we go to our part as men.